All right, beloved, here it is. Everybody wants to know where you get the demons in democracy. Well, it's really easy. Let's talk about it. It actually goes back to the Judeo-Claudian dynasty. Yes, that's right. Julius Caesar goes all the way back to him. That's why you hear about him in your damn schools. It's relevant because they are letting you in on the theft. The theft was certain families had preeminent authority to rule based on the powers and honoring the powers, which are the planets, right? The actual gods are the planets, the sun, the moon, the earth, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, all of those things. They all control this place. They get to move, and it controls the mind, power, and choreography of the ages. That's how you get your astrology. You're allowed to look at the times and divine through the concept of astrology. It is the godly science allowed to you, including the services thereof, honoring the personas of the powers, which are all of those gods, right? There are many aspects of the one thing that created it all, and that one thing that had all the potential possible. Think of it as infinite potential created this. Infinite potential fractionized itself into the ingredients, the spirit, the elements, right? The organization, the mind power, consciousness, into the animals and plants. They are all conscious. They've transcribed DNA without your authority. Consume and produce without you saying, hey, y'all do that for me right now. Independent authority, authorization, preeminent ability to enterprise, even at the genetic level. It's been given to genetic values. Families, even. Always has been. The demons come in democracy of the conspiracy to authorize their own authority. The conspiracy to authorize their own authority. An authorship taken by murder, right? They murdered Julius Caesar. That's how you got democracy. The beast that rose up in the earth, right? That has many heads and horns, right? Was like unlike the others that ruled, right? There's an allegory that keeps echoing. That thing, the preeminent authority to rule, was always given to families, monarchies, right? Constitutional monarchies. Our constitution is to not murder, not defraud, right? Not, you can lie, but we have things where you shouldn't be defrauding. Removing people from their socioeconomic value by lies. We don't need lie because that's a specific lie applied. Not breaking up families. I mean, you can sleep with other people's wives. Okay, that's fine. You want to break the Torah? That's okay. But are you breaking up people from getting the economic value from the husbandman? That's a lie too. It's a covetous. It's what it is. There's always been parameters. Murder not. Thieve not. You know, if you're thieving, you can, but it should be for only to make it, to live, right? Just to make it, right? What we have today is a breaking out of authorization, right? We have fallen so far from those few parameters. There's like 5 or 6. They've added to them so much. You know, those who serve the gods, the real powers, know that there's only a handful of things you're supposed to do. And we're supposed to honor the flesh we were given to eat, right? Because that is of the same power, right? Is of the same power. There's different celestial bodies, terrestrial bodies, right? The planets, the animals, the humans. They're all little vessels for consciousness, right? Fractions of the God, of the power we partake the mother and the father, that we partake their flesh of. We eat of things that are male and female, that turf walk, you know, just like us. They're giving us that, right? Through the honorly process and through the ancient sacrifices, we honored those things. The sun for giving life every day. The morning, the midday, and the evening. All those are in the Bible. The midday sacrifices. Who's those for? Those are for the sun. God damn it. It's a slander and a lie to push religion on everybody. When our powers, our godly right is to serve the powers that exist, right? The defrauding came in because those services were held for us by those monarchies. They are today. Look into the Thistle service and all sorts of stuff. It's to keep those planetary values, those mind powers, those socioeconomic, spirio-demonic fluids to be flowing a certain direction, the way the age ought to, under the authorization and authority of the people it should have been. It was hijacked in Julius Caesar's time which is why we keep talking about it, echoing everywhere. It's history is repeating itself on repeat until humanity stops the cycle. The cycle goes back to a certain authorization. It's supposed to go back under a monarchy. We're not supposed to have a breakout over here of our own thing, believe it or not. At the spiritual level, we have what we have, but at the spiritual level, we know we got to honor our kings because they have the preeminent authority to rule from the actual powers, which is why they've been a ridership. It's an authorization. Although it may have been hijacked here and there, they still have and are running the services, right? Those services for the planets and stuff, for the sun, for the moon, for the values that keep them in that chief mind state, right? Because those can be added and taken from you, right? Okay. That being said, how the world needs to change to get an opportunity for itself to not be running to an end in every direction, because we can see an end in every direction. Finance brings us to an end. It's irresponsibility on top of irresponsibility, funded by the future generation that's not even here, that doesn't get to say that, I didn't vote for that, I didn't vote for that. We're allowing people that don't have the mind power to understand what they're voting for to vote for things that they can't remove once it's in. And they're like, dang, I didn't really want that. You didn't know you were bringing that in. But you left and dyed hair politics, right? And go up there and get our guy in there, or girl. And then you run all the politics from other countries in, right? And dilute our entirety. Listen, we need nationalism if you want to save America. You need fierce nationalism. You need to have everybody not have their fucking other flags on their porch. Not be, oh, let's do 350 million different countries here and everybody's little thing. Where's America going to be? You're going to have a problem with that. Because then they're going to realize that all those countries took a little piece of the pie, and that's all they have, is a pick to death fucking junkyard item, right? That still has some functioning traits, which is largely what's happened to us over the many generations of culturizing and uplifting these heathen nations. They shouldn't have gotten you that stuff, guys. You gave them all this technology, and the moment they do it, Japan, the first thing it is, ran a war against us. China can't wait to run the campaign. They just don't know exactly how they're going to start the connect part of it. But the socioeconomic, spirio-demonic, sorcery input crap is totally there. We got the drugs, we've got the lies and deception, we've got all the funny stuff they do, we've got the red communism concept. The moment Trump got in, they were burning stuff at their little embassy thing. You got to understand. The enemies have invaded us. The only way to fix it, there's a couple different paths, right? We think what the planets are going to do is they're going to cause something from the area from Mercury and Venus to sprinkle this place, and the topography is just going to change, right? We're not going to be running into a digital anything. We're not going to be running into everybody in cubicles. We're not going to be running into any of that stuff, ever. It's never going to go to that. The future is us bringing the bottom up and the top down. You celestial types got to come back to the ground and quit playing model rocket with everybody's money. And you terrestrial types got to come back up and realize that we all need a hand on the plow. And we all have to go together somewhere to get something done. Right? Hey, we could see the spirio-demonic enterprise, because demons rule in democracy, because it is founded by a murder conspiracy. It's a witchcraft. We'll agree together to rule, and we'll get rid of the king and his family, right? Although you were not given preeminent authority to rule. Ergo democracy. It could get flipped in a moment. One little German boy did it. He knew. It could get flipped in a moment. Later, brother.